about pushing through. Resilience is about pushing through life's hardships, even when you don't want to.
Ability to keep your head up when things aren't looking great, and it's knowing that tomorrow is a new day and it's a new opportunity.
Having the courage to sit in the uncertainty of life.
Having the ability and strength to overcome the trials and tribulations that you may face.
Resilience means the ability to be flexible and adapt.
To me, resilience means persevering even through obstacles or difficult times, and it's having the mindset that you can always improve and do better.
Overcoming life's challenges and coming back from those challenges as a stronger individual.
Being resilient means going through a hard time and a hard process, and I think it's very important for us to share that with other people.
Through storytelling and sharing experiences, people can then be built up in that way. So for example, if I hear a story of somebody else being resilient, or I could see somebody really exemplifying that, if I was to catch myself in a similar situation or helping somebody going through something like that, I have something to draw on. And so just kind of drawing on each other's experiences and building each other up through storytelling is really important.
Being able to talk to people, being able to embrace that vulnerability that everybody has is something that is extremely crucial, especially when enduring the hardships that everybody endures in that unique manner as well.
Sharing your story can help other people, and hearing from others can also teach you new ways to cope with your challenges.
When we have authentic conversations about what's going on in our lives, we can help support one another better and build stronger selves and community.
Because if we don't talk about it, then we can never bond over things. We can never work through problems, and the problem just gets worse. So a great way to combat that is simply talking about it.
We need to talk about it to show people that it's an actual thing that they can manifest in their lives, and that they can do it through simple practices that we teach at Rise.
I love to do physical activities. It kind of is like a meditation device for me.
I really try to journal every night, and then throughout my day, if there's something really weighing on me.
Mindfulness is about grounding and recentering yourself and paying attention to the present moment without judgment.
If anything, I would say resilience is a mindset that prepares you in the case of a challenge.
It's okay to not be okay. And talking with people helps you understand that even though you might not feel great now, that there will be a time where you do, and things will look much brighter.
Life will never get easier or be easy, but as long as we have the tools that we can get through anything, we can achieve the lives we want to live.
Hello and good evening. My name is Claudette Esterine-Campbell, and I am the president of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation. Let's start this. Hi, my name is Claudette Esterine-Campbell, and I am the president and chairperson of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation. I'm not sure if you're hearing me, so let me check and see. Yes, let me just check and see if you're hearing me. Okay, there we go. Hi, we have a jam-packed show tonight. We have my usual co-host is here, Dr. Asha Mwendo. Hi, Dr. Asha, how are you? Happy New Year. This is our first live.
And same to you. Yes, I'm so excited. And I'm so excited that we have so much company this evening.
We have so many people, so many women among us this evening. I am really looking forward to this conversation tonight, Dr. Asha. How the New Year started for you?
Powerful women online.
Totally. These are women who I am proud to walk among them. So without much further ado, let us. I'm trying to go live on Instagram, and I'm not sure it has happened, but I'll figure it out for next time. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, this is our first a Woman's Prerogative for 2024. A Woman's Prerogative is a program, a conversation, a show, if you want to call it, that we bring here at the Daughters of Sheba Foundation once per month. Dr. Asha and myself. Dr. Asha is a Jamaican psychologist, naturopath, enough things, radio, talk show host, and all of that. So Dr. Asha and I co-host this every month where we talk about what we call a woman's prerogative, things that it's a woman's right to do, to be, to want, to it's her privilege, the meaning of the word prerogative, a right or a privilege. And we talk about all kinds of issues affecting women. If you want to see some of the lives that we have had over the past 2 years, you can go to our YouTube channel at Daughters of Sheba Foundation on YouTube, and you can catch all of those conversations. Now, tonight we have with us supposed to be three special guests, but for now, we also, I'm going to bring in two people who most of you know. Clara Brown, our director secretary, as well as Gloria. They're here with us tonight for the first A Woman's Prerogative for a particular reason. Tonight we're talking about the theme of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation for 2024, a theme, incidentally, that was coined by Gloria. And I'm going to give her a few minutes to say her greetings and tell us her reasoning behind the theme. I am woman, innovative and resilient. Gloria, why did you choose this theme for us this year?
Well, as you know, everything I do is from my personal experience and based on things that have happened for the past couple of years for me personally, I thought it was the right route to go. I thought it spoke for me in volumes. Being innovative and being resilient. I've had to draw on those two things in a big way for the past couple of years.
Okay, thank you. And you know, we look forward not just here on A Woman's Prerogative, but on all of our lives, on all of our posts, and all of our conversation to unpack this theme as we did last year. The theme last year was leveling up, which was coined by Clara. Clara, how are you? How do you think that we did last year on a personal level, as an organization, etc., with leveling up our lives? What are your thoughts? And what are you looking forward to most this year as we unpack this theme? I am woman, innovative, and resilient.
It is perhaps coincidental that this year's theme follows quite in alignment with the theme last year, and I'm looking at it as the next phase of leveling up. And in leveling up, we have now established that we can do it. We are resilient, we are innovative, because in leveling up, we have had to draw on our inner attributes. We have had to be innovative in resolving some of the issues that we face. In leveling up, we have to draw on our own inherent talents, and therefore I'm quite excited to take on the next phase of establishing how innovative or how resilient we are. So yeah, that's my 2 cents for now.
What Carella, welcome. What do you mean by level up, sister here? Did you level up in 2023 along with us? Or you're saying that you're Clara's partner in crime in terms of Dr. Asha, for you, what does a theme mean for you, and how would you like to see us unpack it so that women, not just in Jamaica, but around the world, you know, I was sharing with you guys that in the last few weeks, we have had almost 300 new followers, and they're from all over the world, you know, and a lot of them are women, some are men. But for you, how do you see us unpacking this theme this year? Dr. Asha?
For me, as Clara just said, it's as if you're not hearing me.
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are.
You hearing me? Okay,
Yes,
good.
yes. Perfect.
As Clara said, in leveling up all year last year, we have now gotten to a stage where we have strengthened each other and strengthened many other women in becoming innovative and also resilient. So for unpacking this year, I see us guiding other sisters in understanding their inner strength, being aware of who they are, realizing that they don't need to apologize for their strength. They don't need to ask no excuse or just take pass and go and do what you have to do and move forward with your life. And when I say go and do what you have to do, for those who are listening who don't understand our patois, that means just keep going, doing what you have to do with your own life. And I will interchange using the patois and the English as part of one of the process of Daughters of Sheba as well, is that we teach. And as our director had guided us before to remind us that we are international listenership. And so therefore, one of the purpose we will live into is teaching our sisters how to talk with patois, but interchange with the English language as well, that we can be universal locally and internationally. So I see us this year coming together, creating opportunities, creating a platform for other sisters to rise and become and understand what it means to really be innovative, what it really means to be resilient, what it means to have equity in our lives.
Great. Thank you for that, Dr. Asha. So I just want to welcome some people who have already made comments. We already spoke about Karela. Karela, welcome. Wow, congratulations to the newbies. Colleen, our ever faithful Colleen is here. Thank you, Colleen. And we have Tasha Lee Francis. This is someone I want to highlight in the coming months as a very resilient woman. Tasha Lee has I was about to say fantastic story, but she might not see it as fantastic. But soon we will talk about that. So I want to acknowledge those people who have commented so far. Now I would like to bring in, if she is with us, our first one of our. I'm going to introduce all of our guests, but Samantha cannot stay with us for the entirety of this program. So I want to bring in Samantha. Samantha is the CEO of her own company that is called Sammy's Gourmet Treat. Wondering if she will come back on camera for us. For some reason, I can't get that comment off. Tasha's comment, what's her name? Comment off. The person I want to bring in is Claudette, my namesake. Claudette is also in Kingston, Jamaica. Claudette is a master baker. Claudette, I am waiting on my cake. Even today, I was bothering Clara. Where my cake there? Dr. Asha said interchange between proper English and the Jamaican part. So today I was bothering Clara. When me cake. So my cake, so that you know, Claudette, has landed in Canada. It is in Winnipeg. So it's its way now from Winnipeg
on its way
to Edmonton, Alberta. So hopefully I'll have a Sunday dinner this week as my dessert for our Sunday dinner this week. And I think Samantha is trying to come back on. So there she is. Hi, Sammy. Sammy,
hello. How is everybody tonight?
Great, we're all great. So Samantha is the CEO of Sammy's Gourmet Treat, and I personally haven't had it yet. I don't know if any of you here has had it. So tonight Deborah was supposed to join us. Deborah is the CEO of.
She's having challenges joining.
Oh, okay. What's the challenge?
She just sent me a message that she don't know. She can't find the link.
Oh, can you resend her the link, Dr. Asha?
I'm gonna try to send mine to her. Yes.
Yeah, it's the same one will work. So I'm going to start with Sammy first because she can't stay for the entirety, and she actually was here much earlier. So tonight our conversation is to share with any woman anywhere in the world watching this now or will be watching it at a later time, is to share with them your guys' experience of being innovative and resilient women. You know, how you used whatever happened in your life as a stepping stone to where you are now. All three of you who are to be here are businesswomen, are owners of business of various sizes. And so I want to start with Samantha first. Samantha, tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you to be doing what you're doing now. Sam?
Okay, Claudette. Well, let me see where to start. I actually didn't start a business because, well, this particular one, because I've tried other businesses before this. This one, though, I kind of stumbled into it because of the circumstances I found myself in at the time. So my husband had passed, and after he passed, I went to work. He wasn't well for a while, so I was at home taking care of him. So when he passed, I was trapped for cash. And it just so happened that one day while I was here, a friend came by, and she was coming from her farm in St. Thomas. And she brought me this lovely bundle of sorrel. You know, when they cut the sorrel on the stick, they just cut it and they put it in a bundle and they tie it. And it was just this beautiful thing she brought me. And I'm saying to myself, what am I going to do with all this sorrel? It just looked to me like it was too much for me to be making sorrel drink with all this sorrel. So as they're thinking, and I said, but you know, as a young girl, I used to make guava jam with my mom. So could I try this sorrel to see if I could make some jam with some of it? So I had a previous order from my son for escovitch pickle. So I wasn't really paying him any mind about the pickle. So that day I said to him, I said, you know, I'll make the pickle because I have all the ingredients. So he said, you serious? I said, yes. And he said, all right, I'll soon come back. So he went out and he came back with these beautiful square jars, 24 square jars. I'm saying to him, where are you going with so many jars? You know, I'm not going to make that much pickle. He said, well, mommy, just use up what you need. And for the rest, you might find something else to do with them. So when the sorrel came, it was just perfect when the idea came to try the sorrel jam. So I made a pickle for him and then I tried the sorrel jam. It came out perfect. And then we had some friends who were coming over. Some of my husband's friends would still come over to play dominoes. You know, they say it's a way of keeping company and giving support. So when they came and they saw the sorrel jam, everybody wanted to know what I was doing with them. I said, well, I don't know. I just made this sorrel jam. So if you want a bottle, each of you take a bottle. So the word got around that I could make this sorrel jam and how it tasted. So what was happening was when they were traveling, they would ask me to make some so that they could take abroad for their families and friends. And so one thing led to the other, and we said, well, why don't we try it instead of just doing this on the black market, so to speak, right? Why don't we try to get it formulated and go to the Bureau standard and see what we needed to do? And so Winston Stoner of blessed memory was very good. And he said to us that we should just go down to, he said there was a guy at Scientific Research Council, we should talk to him first. So we spoke to him and we asked him how we could go about getting the formulation done. And he said that he could do it. And so by this time now, I was experimenting with other things. So we had another flavor. So we made the arrangements and he came and we made up some and we took them down to the Bureau standard for testing. And we got through with that and then know how we were going to market this. And so I had to figure out how we were going to go around and knock on the doors of some supermarkets and see if the owners would would be receptive in taking the products and trying them, even a little bit at a time. And so that was how we started out. It was really, I think, out of necessity and in a sense plain buck up that we started. So we started out with 2 flavors, and now I think we have about 9 flavors.
9 flavors. That is
So,
an amazing story.
per-
Although you said
yeah,
that it wasn't,
perseverance.
yeah, although you said that it wasn't your first business or so forth, it means then that, as you used the word perseverance a while ago, that you kept trying at different businesses and no success. And what are you saying, Dr. Asha?
Innovative.
That's innovative, definitely. Isn't that what you would say, Gloria?
Yes.
Gloria? Gloria, would you not use that word innovative? Because a bundle of oh, okay, she's gone. She'll be back. Thank you for sharing that,
We've lost
Sally. Gloria, I was asking it, wouldn't you say that was innovative? You're mute, Gloria. You're mute. Hold
I was
on.
very
Okay.
innovative, very innovative. But
Right.
also, I think it was not a buck up, as she says. I just think it was just meant to be.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's go to we have a powerful group of women here tonight. I want to
Deborah
go
has
to
joined us.
Yeah, Deborah has joined us. Welcome, Deborah. Thank you for being here with us tonight. Thanks for
Thank you.
agreeing to having this conversation with us tonight. The purpose of which is to share with women, not just in Jamaica, but all over the world who are watching us now, or who might be watching us sometime in the future. Just to share with women that out of challenges come businesses like the ones that you have. So, Deborah, I know that you were a stylist at first, but now you are an entrepreneur, and not just any entrepreneur. You have um, brought into your business. You have infused cannabis, ganja, the good weed into your
The good,
business. The good Jamaican sensimania is a part of your business model. But before we go into the in-depth, in terms of the products that you offer, tell us, how did you get started with this business? What was your journey to this particular business?
Well, good night, everybody. Thank you for having me. When I first started,
Good night.
it was basically out. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It was out of necessity. So the thing that really shook me was the fact that I have anxiety. And back in like 2017, it started getting really bad. And I was taking like Xanax. And Xanax just takes away your feelings. You have no emotions. And I just really couldn't manage it. Doing hair was really hard, very hard work. And you become real personable with people, with persons, because you're really up close and personal with them. And so it got to the point where I had to make a decision. So I had what I call an episode where I'm not quite sure if my nerves just got on me. The anxiety was taking over, and I had to do something. I had these tablets, and I took a half of one, and I got up and I sat on the side of my bed, and I said, I can't do this. I said, you're an advocate for cannabis. What are you doing? So I got up, showered, rubbed down from head to toe with cannabis oil, laid down, and I went to sleep and slept like this for 4 hours. And when I got up, I poured tablets out, and that's it. What I know, because I'm a cosmetologist, is that anything you put on your skin will be absorbed. So I started experimenting with oils, rubs, body butters, anything I could think of that I may make it convenient for persons, especially women, to become relaxed, to kind of ease the stress, help with pain, sleep, appetite increase, all kinds of things is through cannabis. And so that pretty much is what made me really get into it, because I needed it really badly for myself. So that's why.
Wow. Wow. Dr. Asha, do you have any initial questions to Deborah or
For
Sammy?
Deborah, I think it would be unfair for me to ask Deborah anything because I know everything about Deborah.
Right.
Because Deborah and I, we partner in a number of things that we do. I provide her with the castor oil she used to do her blends as well, and I also create my own castor oil blends using cannabis oil
Okay,
from
so ask
her
Sammy. Do
as
you have
well.
anything to ask for
And
Sammy?
so, only one thing I want to ask Sammy. Sammy, the only one thing I want to ask you is when will I get my sample of all of these goodies that you do? And also, I will extend an invitation very soon. I'll be having all of you ladies one by one coming onto my program. Tashalia and I have already worked out. She's coming on
You know, Dr.
Healing
Asha
Moments
always
because
promote
her
our
story is
program for Daughters
powerful.
of Sheba Foundation programs.
Yes, so
You're an opportunist.
so
That's what I can
you
say
know,
about you.
for Sammy, I want listen to me. You advertise everybody else on here business except mine. So let me advertise mine for myself. Thank you. All right.
I have a
So
question.
Sammy, but I want to ask Sammy though, for the women that are listening in, you pivoted after the death of your husband out of necessity to find something to do to bring income
Yes.
in. So you chose to work for yourself and not for someone else. And of course, the journey wasn't easy. Are there any regrets?
Oh no. No regrets. No regrets. Absolutely no regrets. It To me, everything that happened in your life is
No
is
regrets.
is, is
Beautiful.
teaching you something. And so from all the
Thank you.
experiences, the
And I really
challenges,
wanted that
I've
to come.
learned. I've learned and I've grown. And so I have no regrets. If I had to do it all over again, I would do it.
Yes.
Nice.
And
I
I want
Sammy,
think
our
I think
sisters
part
listening to
part
Sammy
of
to
the thing
hear.
part of the thing with women, I think, is that we don't understand how much power we have, and it is not something that is going to be handed to us. It is there, it's inside. And if you keep working at it, it will all come through, it will all fall into place. You have to believe in yourself and you just
Truly.
have to keep plowing away at it.
so before
Resilience.
resilience,
Yes.
exactly.
Thank you.
Clara,
Resilience. Coming
Clara, is there
forward. Yes.
anything you wanted? Clara, is there anything you wanted to ask before we go on to Claudette? Get Claudette's story of her journey to being the master baker that she is. You're muted, Clara. You have to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have a question per se, but I just as I was listening to Sammy and her story resonate with a lot of strong women that I know, and it's brought me to a quote from Jay Shetty, and it says, as Sammy was speaking to her failing at other business opportunities that she embarked on, and the quote from Jay Shetty said, "You can start late, you can start over, you can lose it all, fall again and again, yet still succeed." And Sammy's story is one of resilience, perseverance, and being innovative. All of that in like a potpourri of inner attributes, and she is succeeding at what she's. It's no buck up. It's just something that we women have, and you all know how I feel about women power. It's not a mock up, Sammy, and I don't want to hear you talk about mock up. No, no, that's what happens when we pour all that we have into and outwards, and we will succeed at whatever it is that we attempt to do.
Thank you for that, Clara. And
I agree.
yeah, you do. You
Yes.
realize that it was destiny, right, Sammy?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
again, before
It's
going over
amazing
to
how things happen sometimes and how things
yes,
fall into place.
it's called synchronicity. It's like synchronized swimming. You notice when they
Yes.
swim, everything just come together. Claudette, let's hear a bit of your
Yes.
story. How you got started. How you got started on your journey. Can you unmute yourself, Claudette, and give us a little of how you got started?
Well, good night, everyone. I got started out of a need as well.
Good night.
You see, I had three young children, and I was living in a strange land with them. And so I became a stay-at-home mom because my husband was a recording engineer, musician who tours with bands and so forth. And so um, I used to do things like merchandising and promotion, cosmetics, anything, those kind of thing because of my personality. Because I did a bit of modeling in Trinidad where I lived. I was married to a Trinidadian, and he was, a musician, as I said, recording engineer, always touring. And so when things happened that I had to pack up and leave in a hurry, I had to come back home to, well, I didn't grow up with my mom or dad. I grew up with my grand aunt and her daughter and seven children. So at some stage in my life, I was called Cinderella. And you know Cinderella, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cinderella is someone who, this pretty girl and she has everything to do. So I'm there and I started working in a distribution company. And then some things started happening there. And some things said, Claudette, you need to leave this place. Persons are dying every year, someone died. Something is not right. So I wrote my resignation. I gave it to someone. I said, when I leave, please give it to the boss. And I left. And then I went working at a basic school. The administrator at my church said, Claudette, the basic school needs someone to cook for them. And I said, no problem. I can do that. It was 180 children I had to cook for. But I love cooking. It was always a passion from I was young. My mom cooked in a Chinese restaurant. I grew up where the male in the home, they all could cook. They will wake us all up hours a night, put on pot and stove and wake us up and say, come eat now. So good tasting food has always been a part of my life, regardless of what other turmoil or whatever was going on. So I came back home with the three children, no father because, you know, he You know, musicians, they get on drugs. So drugs was his thing, cocaine, start selling stuff. My daughter had just gotten um, her exam, passed her exam, and she got the sandals. And we went out, and when we came home, the sandals was gone. And she said, "Daddy, where's my sandals?" And he said, "Oh, I sold it."
Oh.
And so that was how I left Trinidad. I left him over there, right? And I came home. Came home and I went back home with my, at this time, my grandaunt had passed a long time. And so my cousin, who I call aunt, because you know, children grow up, they say auntie. So regardless of who they are, they're auntie, right? And so with the children, I at the basic school, I just gave them good food, you know. But again, something happened. The principal came and she decided, well, she don't want any of the church people working there because it's my church basic school. It's on the same compound because I go to a very large church. And I decided she called a meeting with the board chairperson, and I said to them, you know what? I'm leaving. No need for this meeting. I'm leaving. So I left. And I started baking cakes for Christmas. I started baking pudding. As a matter of fact, I used to do it to raise funds for trading for a women's fellowship. And I said, and people would order, and the orders would get, you know, people would order to take overseas, like I'm baking one tomorrow for someone to take to the States because our nephew says you have to bring one, you know, and the baking cake and the Christmas cake. And I said, Father God, how did this happen? I mean, it's not like I went to a culinary school. I'd applied to one in England and gotten through, but never got to go. But he just gave me this gift. And, you know, when you do things and you do things with integrity and honesty, and you really give people worth for their money, and I think that is important in business. With me, no matter how expensive things get, I don't cut costs. I
Right.
put the things that I know will make my things them taste awesome, because that is how you're going to retain customers.
Exactly. Claudette, what year did you actually started, with your baking and it became an income?
I think I left the basic school, I would say about 10 years now. So I would say yes.
10 years. Okay.
And
I
so
have a
I
reason why
call
I asked
I
that. So
call
you've been
what I
doing for
do
quite some time, right? And
right,
somebody,
but it's not just baking. I cook.
I know you do
I will
math.
do family dinners. I will do things for church, like the various ministries in the church. I will have social. So, you know,
So
I
here we
will
have
do,
Kenya saying that,
yes.
lad, the cake, nice, bad. I will know come this weekend. Right, Clara?
That's
Right,
right.
Clara?
That's right.
And I concur.
And you have had it. You have tasted her cake, Dr. Asha. Where did Deborah go again? I just wanted to ask her because I think she has.
Cake and
You will
pudding.
have
Cake
Deborah again,
and
right?
pudding, I've had it all.
Oh, you had the pudding as well. Okay. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I wanted to ask Deborah something. So I hope she comes back soon. Gloria, is there anything else
I
you
hope
want to
so
ask
too.
Claudette?
No, no, no. By all of these women. I'm just
Mm.
listening and being inspired.
So
Awesome
one
stories.
one thing, I wanted to ask Deborah, and I hope she comes back. I want to ask Deborah about, because she touched on a topic that some people think that you can't come back from. And in her absence, Dr. Asha, you being the psychologist among us, is mental health. You know, mental health is something that runs rampant, particularly among women and women of color, and we often don't talk about it. It's something that it's a condition that can render us, I don't want to say useless, but render us useless when it comes to our innovative side. But Deborah, she found a way to manage whatever mental health challenges she was going through at the time, and came up with this wonderful company that uses a natural product to support people who, she literally said that she tried to find, she recognized that the skin absorbs certain
Absorbs, yes.
properties. Right, you know. What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Asha, about mental health and how it affects us as women in terms of our innovation?
One of the things about mental health, we have varying levels of mental illness. And so therefore, the good thing about it is Deborah was suffering from depression. Based on what she said, that's what she was most likely suffering from, depression. And that is one of the mental illness that affects a lot of us. And mental illness without having any other form of motivation is something that can cripple your ability to innovate, and even to let you feel like you can't find that resilient self within you to push forward. And one of the things I normally say for my personal health, I always say mental health is my only health fear. I believe that anything else that is wrong with me, if my mind is working well, I can manage anything. And one of the things I always say, even salvation, to be saved by God, if you don't have mental health, at some point we can cry out and say, Lord, save me, you are lost. So it is really a very important aspect of our holistic wellness. It is something we don't talk about. It's a taboo to say you're not feeling mentally well. Like this evening, I said to my daughter, I have this Facebook Live to do. I'm coming in from a very hectic day, but not too stressful, but hectic, on the body, not 100%. And my vertigo is triggered. When the vertigo is triggered, it affects my mental health as well on a personal level. So if you don't have that can help you to rise and fight through these circumstances. Deborah was aware of what was happening to her. And that is one of the parts of being resilient, is being aware of self at all times. So she was aware that something was not right. She was aware that she needed more. And so she fought for more, especially in her time of lucidity. She fought for more. And that is one of the things, as sisters now, we need to bond together with our sisters around us, understand, especially when women are getting to a certain age. Menopause, early menopause, and mental illness is no joke. It's a real thing. It is a real thing. And a lot of women, good, sensible, normal women, getting into early menopause and into menopause is when they're going to the crazy stage. As some men would say, I don't know what happened to my wife, she just gone crazy. And co-workers will realize they're not operating well. Deborah is back.
Yes, so before we lose her again, Deborah, we were talking about you behind your back.
Yes.
we were talking about your experience with a mental health challenge, and the resources that you found to help yourself, and probably still continue to help yourself today. Do you have anything about that aspect of your journey that you would like to emphasize for any woman watching this at any time about mental health challenges and how to handle themselves with that?
Well, one of the most important things, I think, is to be able to gauge when it's time for you to say, okay, I need help. You have to know when you're not, because I'm not qualified to really get into what I need for my own mental health. I can only do so much. And so after a certain point, that's when I start to reach out. I happen to have friends that's what they do for a living. So I could reach out to them and talk. And I start writing a little bit, writing some. Journals are real good. Writing. Sometimes I could just write my thought out on a pad of paper, because I'll keep pads of paper around. Little booklets. You just kind of have to know when it's time for you to ask, because we have a tendency, especially as Black women, to keep our stuff to ourselves, because
sure.
That's just, I know where I come from. Keep your business to yourself, but at some point you have to recognize that you need help.
Sorry,
And so
Deborah.
you start reaching out.
And one of the things
Sam,
that
go ahead, Dr. Asha.
what Deborah just said, which is really, really, really very important in a woman that is resilient,
reach out,
is that you understand you're not afraid.
I may throw Asha
that you're vulnerable.
One of my stray
your internet is coming in.
As a matter of fact, I find myself going through stages. I've never been almost 66. I'm sorry, it's terrible. And I was just telling Asha, if you don't see me again, you know why, because it's awful today. It's been awful all day. But one of the things I find too, you have to make yourself cry. You have to purge. You have to let go sometimes, I used to be 5 feet tall. I'm all of 4'11" now, I'm told. And I have to, I have to just let go. I have to let go as strong as I've been, because we've been taught, most of us, I don't know about you all, but I had to take over at the age of 10 and become a grown woman. So I had to be tough.
You had to take over at age 10. Is that what you said?
But I had to be tough.
Is that what you said?
Yes,
you had to
that's
take
what she
over.
said.
What happened? You lost your parents?
Yes.
What happened?
10. No, my mom and dad divorced. My father moved out. My mother worked hard. She worked all the time. My mother worked. Sometimes she wouldn't get home till 10 o'clock at night. When she finished her job, she hustled after work. She had to make water for us to. So at the age of she said, you to become a girl today. I need to cook dinner, help you, make sure he gets his go to bed. I gotta work. So that's what I had to do. So carrying a long, long time. After a certain amount of changes, or something. My God, if you haven't had it, go ahead.
I just wanted to bring in Sammy on this because I know she has to go shortly, and I see her eyes signaling to me she has to go shortly. Sammy, what are your thoughts on this aspect of the conversation about women, especially us Black women, and when it comes to mental health and how it affects our innovative nature? Because I know you're an author as well, Sammy. We've talked tonight only about your business as your jam making business, your gourmet treat business, but Deborah mentioned about writing. Do you find writing to be therapeutic? And one of the gifts that we gave some members of our foundation this Christmas was a copy of Sammy's journal. Was that therapeutic for you? Did you have an experience with mental health issues, Sammy, that you can share?
Maybe maybe I would say I might not have been aware of it at the time, but my mom was ill for quite some time, and I used to always just have these little things that I would do on Facebook. So I just write it as it came to me.
Okay.
And one day my daughter-in-law said to me, "Well, you're writing them and it's just your friends on Facebook who are able to see them. Why don't you put it in a journal?" And I said to her, "Well, why not?" And so we did one, and then we did a second one. And so it has been very, very therapeutic for me. And because some of the things that were happening were not things that I felt I could openly discuss, maybe writing was a way of venting. So for me, it was therapy.
Okay.
And I know
Okay.
that a lot of women, especially when you get to a certain age and you have certain challenges and there are changes that's taking place in your body and changes in your surroundings that might affect your mental health. But a lot of us are mortally afraid to speak about how we feel, even with people who are very close to us, because sometimes we think you might be ridiculed. You know, I remember when we had Chick V, and I commented to somebody that after having Chick V, I did not feel the same. Okay, I was better because I wasn't having the pains, but I think that it affected my mind because my memory was not as sharp as it used to be before Chick V. And they just laughed me to scorn. They thought I was literally, you know, what we say, crazy for saying something like that. But I knew how I felt. I knew what I was feeling. So mental health is a real issue, and a lot of us are going through it without knowing that is what we're going through.
What we're going through. You're absolutely right. I remember for
And
myself. Go ahead. Go ahead.
without feeling that we have people that we can speak to, without feeling comfortable in speaking to those around us about how we feel. So sometimes I think we're not even able to get the help we need because you're shy away from talking to those around you because you're going to be ridiculed, you're going to be laughed at, you're going to be saying that you're talking nonsense. So we just keep it to ourselves, and we just continue in that vein. And sometimes, unfortunately, instead of you getting help and it getting better, it becomes a real problem to the point where it disrupts people's lives and families.
Absolutely. You know, thank you for being willing to be vulnerable and sharing that with us, Sammy. I know you told me you couldn't stay all night with us, and we're not going to be here much longer. So, but if you need to leave, thank you. I don't know if Clara wants to say something in terms of her appreciation of your being here with us tonight, Sammy.
I just want to say that I feel so blessed and I feel so inspired by the stories, both from Sammy, Deborah, and Claudette. And while Claudette was speaking, and the theme of resilience just keep going around in my mind. And my takeaway
Oh,
from
Team Gloria.
um, my takeaway from that is that what Claudette has demonstrated, that she got out of her own way. Because sometimes some of us in our pursuits to do whatever it is that we set out to do, we stand in our own way out of fear, perhaps, apprehension, perhaps. It could be anything. But Claudette stepped out of her way and move on and move forward. And that is something that we need to be focusing on as we express ourselves in terms of our innovativeness or demonstrating how resilient we are going forward.
Thank you for that, Cara. I want to come to Claudette, but I just want to say, Sammy, if you need to leave, go right ahead. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Claudette, I know you're a woman of deep faith.
Thank you for inviting me. And
Oh,
I
absolutely.
thoroughly enjoyed. And I want to say to each and everyone, keep doing what you do. It can only get better. So keep believing in yourselves. And I wish everybody a wonderful 2024.
Thank you. Thank you, Sammy. Thank you. Thank you.
All the
Same to
best.
Thank
you.
you,
Same
Sammy.
to you.
All the best. The
Bye-bye.
same all the best to you as well. Claudette, I know you're
Thank
a
you,
woman of
guys. Bye.
Bye. Claudette, I know you're a woman of deep faith, and I didn't know that part of clearly. I didn't know that part of your story until you shared it with us tonight. My question is, where you had a husband who was an addict, yet there are some women, and I'm speaking from personal experience, not that it happened to me, but where they would say, oh, God say I must stay with him to help him to get through this and so forth. So years ago, somebody asked me this, and I was very upset at the time. This was like over 2 decades ago. She said to me, where was your God when I was going through a difficult time? So my question to you is, where was God when you made that decision? Where was God in your life when you made that decision that, I have to get my kids out of this situation?
Claudette, he was there because he gave me the strength to say, I need to do this for my children. I can't let my children stay here. I said, yes, it would be hard to leave because, you want your children to have their dad, but not this way. And so the strength he gave me, things were just moving smoothly. Everything was just going, no obstacle. Everything, the tickets came. I had to do a financial clearance first. I had everything just worked like clockwork because I had this Psalm 91, that I used to read, you know, and so he was with me, and I knew he was there because of how things work for me to be able to just pick up and go. I had friends who supported me. I had friends who took me to the airport early in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. I had friends whose home I packed up and went to their home staying. He didn't know because he was too busy smoking. And when he realized in the morning that, wait, nobody's there, he went searching everywhere for me that he knew that I would have gone. And I was not there. And he just stayed on the drugs. I never had any support from him for the 3 children.
Oh, wow.
And, God was with me. And, I have friends who used to say, Claudette, I don't know how you do it, but you're strong. And I said, it's for my children. I have to be there for my children. I can't buckle. I can't say, God, why this? I can't because, sometimes we make decisions and it's like coming out of the fire into the frying pan, or from the frying pan into the fire. That kind of thing, because I was very unhappy at home and I wanted was to get away. And
May I ask
I
you
was working.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I was working
want
at a
to ask you
recording studio when I met him.
Okay.
And then he got a job in Trinidad, his hometown, because he lived out here for quite some time playing with all the big band, you know, Sonny Bradshaw, all the big bands. And so I went over there. But I miss my family still. But I decided that I was going to do this for my children because I didn't have my mom and dad with me. I lived with my mom for a short while, and my dad was nowhere around. And so whatever I did it for them.
Did you ever see him again after that?
Um, no. After a while, when he didn't call, he didn't say anything, I called him and I said, because he wanted like us to come over here to be with me. And I said, look, that is finished. But you have children who loves you and who needs you. So you need to have a relationship with them. And you know what he told me? He said, I'll have to think about it.
Oh.
And I said, okay, but know that there's nothing between us. There will never be. So he
So
calls
did
and
he
he
think
used to
about
talk
it
to
and did
them.
he come around? Okay, that's what I was about to ask.
Yes, he called and he used to talk to them, but he has never sent them anything because all his money. And you know, when I left there, what he was doing actually was teaching children music lessons in from a home. He was doing something good, even though he was doing the drugs.
Mm.
You see, the cocaine, it is something that I realized that once you're on it and you get that first high, is something that if you don't have strength, and he didn't have the strength I had as a person, as a woman. And so I stayed with him for nearly 10 years. I held on. I held on. But then when the threats come in that, oh, you know, people will say we are such a nice family, and then we are gone. I said, no, no, no. I said, oh no. So I just started the wheels turning to just move away. I had it planned. I was supposed to have gone to do promotion for Grace Kennedy. And I had to call and said, I can't make it because while I went, I told him I was going to work. Is because I went looking about the stuff, getting the tickets, getting whatever done to leave while my children, he was in another room. They were packing suitcase and hiding it under the bed. So everybody was doing their part. My big son, he didn't want to leave. He said, Mom, I don't want to go. I said, Andre, I don't want to leave you. I'm not leaving you. I'm not leaving you. You have to come. We have to go. My youngest son would say, Mom, why did we have to go? Why couldn't we stay? I said, well, not with how things was going. We couldn't stay because then we might have become a fatality, a family that, my gosh, they were such a nice family. And look what happened. I read that too many times and I decided that wasn't going to be us.
Thank you for
So
thank you there because there's so many women right now going through that. Isn't that so, Dr. Asha? Staying for the sake of the
Staying for the
kids.
children and not running with the children, not realizing that leaving is what the children would better survive from, and the pain that we see. And I really do admire Claudette. And one of the things I admire all the women we have coming on this evening. It was really a powerful group that we have had. Claudette's story is almost similar to some of what Deborah went through as well. And so if
Mhm.
she was here, she could support. That's part of what she went through. One of the things for women is to realize that choose yourself and your children over society's expectation. Just this morning, I was talking to a brother of mine. church brother, friend. He don't go to church much anymore, but he's still a nice young man. Well, he's older than me, so but we are young. But what he was saying, he have not seen his wife in 10 years. He has not seen his wife in 10 years because she
Wow.
lives in the US, he lives in Jamaica. She says she can't live in Jamaica after doing all these years in Jamaica. She can't live in Jamaica. She can't even come and visit her own husband in Jamaica. And he decided that health-wise, and so he couldn't manage going back and forward anymore. And so they have not seen each other for more than 10 years. However, he said this thing: I will not divorce her. I prefer to remain alone because the church and the Bible says. So it's not only women who are shackled by the Bible says and how the Bible was mistaught to us and for misunderstanding. And what she did, she left, and nothing is wrong with separating for salvation's sake and for your life's sake. And I like when Claudette says she refused for her and her family to become a statistic because she don't want it to be such a nice family. And look, and a lot of women need to hear this. What statistic listing would you prefer to be on? Would you prefer to be on the statistic listing that says, I ran when I knew I had to, I ran with my children, I ran for my life, or on the statistic listing that you don't even get to read? Someone reads about you, that you were such a wonderful family and you have gone this way. So I'm saying to my sisters this evening, be strong enough to look within, be aware, take decisions that benefits your life, and if you have kids, that benefit your children as well. This to me, this woman, she ran from a foreign country. She run from come back home, and that is one of the things. Again, as women, as mothers, strong sisters, never let any of your family members that go out in life feel like they can't come back home. Let them know no matter what, you can't come home. I prefer you to come home than to be carried home. And it is good that Claudette ran. Her children understand, I'm quite sure, eventually why they had to. He lost, but she's here to tell the story.
She definitely is here to tell the story. I
Strong
don't know.
story that inspires other women to become.
A story of resilience and a story of innovation, because here now is Claudette, who I'm told bakes some of the best cakes and puddings and
Solution
cakers.
oriented.
Yeah.
Found
I don't know what
solutions to your questions.
I don't know what happened to Gloria. I think maybe she's having the same internet
A lot of
problem.
us are having technical challenges.
Right. So we're going to wrap this up shortly here. Clara, any final words?
Sister Claudette, can I tell you that eventually he died of lung cancer?
Oh. I wanted to ask, but I didn't want to.
I knew she would get to it. That is why I didn't ask. I was tempted to ask as well, but I said to myself, I think she's going to get to it. I'm glad she did.
How long ago did this happen that he passed on?
This happened in 2016. We didn't get to go to the funeral. I went afterwards. A friend sent for me. So they weren't able to go and say farewell. But my eldest son went just before he passed. When we heard that he was sick and he was in the hospital, my eldest son went and saw him, and he died the following week.
Oh, wow. Oh, it must have been painful, even though you guys,
Yes,
broke up.
it was for them, because I still wanted them to have a relationship with their dad. And at least they spoke to him. My daughter made peace with him and spoke to him. And, so that is there. But I am thinking too that they still have issues because of all of that, and then his passing, and especially my daughter who didn't see him before he died, because my youngest son had managed to go and see him, and when he had to go to the hospital, he had to take him to the hospital, but my daughter, he didn't see him. But
Okay. As you said,
they're baptized now, and we can't say no, everything is going to be okay, but at least they can take strength that whenever anything happens, they can have God at their side to lift them up.
Amen.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm reading a comment here by Cleo.
Yes.
She's going to be the next one on one of our conversations because this is news to me. So Cleo writes, I agree. I left my husband. The last straw was when my children were almost chopped up by his side chick partner. Oh my God. Cleo, you're gonna have to come on and talk to us, because the Cleo that we know in our group, in our Facebook group and everything is is a woman who she's doing things. She's doing things to make it happen. And I don't think any of us knew that story. So we need to have that story shared of her own experience of having to be resilient.
She says she's a runner.
Yeah, I saw that too. Clara, any final words here before we go?
As I sat here, I probably looked mesmerized, but I was listening keenly, and again, my takeaway listening to Claudette's story is that being resilient also means that you have to make the tough calls. That's a sign of being resilient.
Yes.
And the other point I would just want to make, that if the pain, my mother used to say this, and she said that if the pain was deep, you will have to let go of it more than once. In fact, many times. And as an adult myself, those sayings are just making sense to me when I listen to my sisters, when I listen to my colleagues, and yeah. But it was a very, very inspiring conversation or conversations that we have, and I'm so glad that I came early. Yes, Dr. Asha.
Yes.
I came early.
One time.
I haven't missed anything.
No.
I don't know what happened, but my internet stood up.
Very nicely, I must say.
So
Dr.
I'm happy,
sorry,
happy
Clara,
to
go
have
ahead.
you and happy that I was here.
Yes, and we're happy that you're a part of our group, or you're a part of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation, Claudette. We really, really appreciate your sharings. We even more I will even appreciate it more when we get the cake.
Claudette.
Yes.
Just listening to our sister Claudette here talking, and to the other women who were on with us. I give God thanks that the day he put this inspiration in my head to start a little private chat, that I followed through and did it without even asking any question, because out of that little room there where we can be ourselves and talk and not worry about the eyes of Facebook and everybody else, we get to learn so much about our other sisters that are here journeying with us, and it strengthens us.
Yes,
I know it strengthens me, and sometimes when you're over here being innovative and being resilient and feel like, oh God, it's just me one around here doing this thing, you hear somebody else's story and it makes you go small and allow their greatness to rise and help you to, come up. And what we hear this evening is like helium. It will help our sisters to just float up and rise, because we don't rejoice at the pain of others. What we are rejoicing this evening at is at the strength, resilience, and innovation of our sisters. Just these few sisters that were able to speak into our spirit this evening. I don't think we could have handled any more. And as Clara said, we just have to sit back in awe and look at how strong our sisters have been. Even the Cleos who seem all right and everything is going on have a story to tell.
Yep.
And each of us stories strengthens each other. Say, iron, sham, iron. Women, we are strong. And as just like how they say, iron cannot be destroyed, it can only destroy its own self. We are strong, and we have to work together to help each other, not to destroy ourselves, but to grow together and be strong. This evening have been awesome.
And I there's a woman, well, I don't know if it's a man or a woman, but I still have it in Daughters of Sheba Foundation inbox. She threatened me, and I didn't even bother to bring it up, because I don't give energy to these things. But she sent me a threat because I made a comment about who. And she sent me a threat, and then she continued to say that that you and your so-called foundation. And I smiled, because we're not out here looking for likes and shares and numbers. We're here to help one at a time. And Dr. Asha, kudos to you for starting that chat. It was something that it would have eventually happened, but thank you for taking the initiative of doing so. People might be wondering what we're talking about, is that we have a private group on Facebook. Once you like and follow our page, once you will get an automatic invitation to join, but there are questions that you have to answer to be allowed into the group. Once you're in the group, then you have the opportunity to chat with us one-on-one. I'm on there most of the day. Dr. Asha is there. Dr. Asha and I open the window and turn on the lights. I'm on and we turn it off at nighttime. So that's what this foundation is about, helping one at a time. And our help comes a lot of support, conversations. Sometimes we help people with money. Sometimes we help people with grocery, but we don't publicize what we do. So anybody who wants to say it's a so-called foundation, go for it. We don't care. I really want to thank the three ladies, was it three, who agreed to join us tonight. I don't need to repeat everything that Dr. Asha and Clara and Gloria said. Thank you, Dr. Asha, for always being faithful. I know you're not feeling on top of the world tonight, so thank you for being here. Thank you for what you do for us, what you do with us. Thank you, Clara. Without you, the Daughters of Sheba Foundation would not where it's at. We're in our third year, and not to mention Gloria as well. Claudette, thank you for being the last one standing with us tonight.
And my phone soon shut down with me, so
yes, we're wrapping up
yes,
now.
it's dying. It's on 11%.
Wow.
Yes.
So thank you. If you want, you can hang up. You can hang up. Thank you for being with us tonight, and we will chat.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We're honored.
Sure.
I'm going to close with Carella's word. Carella says, yes, women must help and uplift each other instead of bashing each other. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your experiences. So good night, everybody. Good night. Thank you all.
Blessings.
Blessings to you too, my
yes,
friend.
And for persons who will listen to this afterwards later on and join us, please share that we can inspire and empower more women.
Yes, one at a time. And men.
And men as well.
Before we go, I need to share this. Normally, as I said, we don't really publicize what we do. But I don't know if anybody realizes how how moved I was by a male member
Yes.
of our group.
Yes.
He's in Nigeria, and
Yes.
we did something for him. And while I thought it was a small thing, when that
A big
man
thing in his
wrote,
life.
we realized how big of a thing what we did was. And that is what we do. We, it really made me feel good, damn
Yes.
good, that we do what we do. So
Amen.
anyway, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night until next month, second or third Tuesday, when we come again with a woman's prerogative. But please like and follow us and get other forms of inspiration, get notification of other lives that we do.
Yeah.
Good night. God
Good
bless.
night.
Bye.